Let's get started. Namaste everyone. Namaste to the Hindi University. Really excited to have all of you this Sunday in the Hindi class. As you know, we meet every Sunday 8 a.m. US Pacific time, which is the time in the west coast of the US, the California region. And we talk about Hindi language. Okay, for those of you who are new to Hindi University, you can learn more about us by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hindi University. If you're interested in attending our live classes every Sunday, you can join and find all the details using this page, tiny.cc/Hindi University. We've also listed out time for different location, in case if you're located in a different country and you want to join. This page is pretty, my most recommended page, so you definitely want to check it out. And based on your level, you can, brush up the previous topics as well. It has the Zoom link to join this class, which is free, as well as the practice sessions, okay, which are there pretty much every day. So you have details for practice sessions as well. Okay. Lately we've been covering the book called Teach Yourself Hindi. Teach Yourself Hindi. So I definitely recommend you get the copy of this book. The soft copy is available on this page as well. It's a book written by Professor Rupert Snell, and we've been systematically covering this book for the past several months. And our goal for today's class is to finish chapter number 16. It's going to be a new topic. In the previous class, we spoke about duplicate words, where one, noun, adjectives and adverbs, when they're repeated twice, such as dhire dhire, jaldi jaldi, like what does it mean, right? It means to emphasize the underlying adjective and adverb. Okay. In this class, our goal is to do a similar topic. It's called echo words. It's a very interesting phenomenon, echo words. It's most common in the South Asian languages. Most common. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist in other languages, but it's very common in the South Asian languages, especially in a day-to-day conversation. Okay, you might not see the references you will see references in books as well, novels as well, but it's mostly if you are writing a formal Hindi, you will see lesser references, but otherwise it's pretty common. Okay. So goal is to kind of give all of you tools to use echo words, and if someone is identifying it, at least recognize those. Okay. So with that in mind, let's as always, participation is really encouraged. If you guys have any questions, comments, you want to share your thoughts, let me know, and we'll share that. Right. So with that, echo words. What is an echo word? Okay, so first we'll talk about the definition, some examples, and then different cases. Echo word is a word or a phrase. It's a word or a phrase that contain two identical. That contains two identical or very similar parts. Okay, very high level so far, like it doesn't give you any specifics, but what do they mean by that? When we say two identical words, example that's very common that comes to our mind, you probably have heard of this expressions, chai wai. Okay, chai, as you know, is a tea, but the echo word, something similar, right? Chai is a tea, and then there is a corresponding, word along with it, why. Okay, it's not the English why, but corresponding to chai. But what does it mean? It means such. Okay, tea and such. Okay. So its echo words serve the expression of and such, or things like that. things like that. Things like that. Okay, so when you hear this word chai wai, it's tea and such. It could be tea and like some like cake along with it, tea or pastry, tea or coffee. But basically you put them into the same category, chai wai. Other important thing you will notice in the echo word, it's a good number of them start with the sound v. Okay, v sound. So I'm gonna write it here. It's a v sound. Doesn't mean all of them, but the corresponding words start with a v sound for the most of them. Okay, so chai wai. Similarly, if it is pencil, the corresponding echo word will be. Let's see if Tom can guess it. Tom, you want to unmute yourself? If the corresponding echo word for chai is Y, what is the corresponding word for pencil? Tom from LA, you have to unmute yourself.
Thank you. The word for pencil is column. So column valam?
Column valam, okay. Or if you want to just use the English word pencil, it would be?
Oh, pencil valam.
Pencil, okay. Pencil. Okay, awesome.
Pencil, thank you.
Pencil, right? Pencil and things like that. Okay, that's what it means. It's a feature in the colloquial language, as I mentioned. Okay, so these are just examples. Now, the most important part is when do you use it? From your perspective, most of you who are advanced, if you feel comfortable, striking it in a conversation, go with it. Okay, it really shows that you feel very comfortable with the language, you have a good grip on it, and you can just use these expressions in your day-to-day conversation. Okay, so let's say you visit your friend's place, you're very comfortable, and rather than you requesting them or telling them chai banao, you can say chai wai banao. That means like bring some tea or things like that. Doesn't necessarily mean just chai, it could be something similar to that, right? Hope that makes sense. Now, what about other languages? Right? So what about other languages? Okay, so I have examples from Tamil, which is also in a very popular South Asian language. So in Tamil, the corresponding, you guys will recognize it, the Tamil speaker, the corresponding echo word starts with the key sound, the small key. Okay, so for example, in Tamil, you have a puli, which is tiger. Okay, the corresponding echo word in Tamil would be puli, kili. And I hope I write it correctly, which means tiger and such. Okay. Similarly, if the word for snake is pambu, which is snake, the corresponding echo word in Tamil would be pambu kimbu. The small key, okay, pambu kimbu, which is snake and such. Okay, hope that makes sense. Okay, hope that makes sense. Yeah.
The puli kili is, I think, because being a Tamil speaker, puli kili, that is because pu is a short note.
Okay,
So
that's why it is. I see.
But when it has come to the pambu is the long one, so it should be kimbu.
E, that's why. I see. Okay, but underlying thing is the sound is k.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's a comment.
Awesome. When do you use it? While I'm talking to you, when do you most commonly use this expression? Like what?
So for example, if you tell the story to the children, so it's going to say, or somebody, don't open the door, don't leave the door open, palm became one the so it means it's the palm, along with the bamboo, some insects or something along that kind of creature is going to come inside the house. So
okay.
Don't leave the door open.
Perfect.
So instead of saying all the other creatures' names, you would say palm became.
Awesome. That makes sense. That completely makes sense, and that aligns very well with how it is used in English as well, right? Awesome. So Now let's see the other word. Like you probably heard of, or you probably most of you have watched this movie as well. It's a very popular movie, which is basically English Winglish. Right? English Winglish. Now Winglish is not really a word, right? But the corresponding word, echo word for English starts with ver sound, and that's made English English. So if you watch, you should watch. It's a good movie. You should watch it. You will see a story of a mom. She is trying to be in the same company as her kids, and they speak pretty good English, and right, so they make fun of her. So it's a beautiful story. In case if you have time, you should watch it. Okay, English English. Now, as I said, English. The English is not a word, but like it is said in an echo word, right? To kind of explain like English and things like that, right? What else can it mean? It could also convey a dismissive tone. It could also convey a dismissive tone. Okay, and express vagueness. Express vagueness. Now, what do I mean by vagueness? Vague is, in this case, it's the speaker is not necessarily they want to remain vague about it. Okay, he or she is not really specific about the object, and they're trying to be like bring chai or things like that. Okay, doesn't mean that just bring chai. Okay, but they want to be vague about it. Okay. So let's discuss some more examples just to kind of like get very comfortable with it.
Wait, so Ashu Ji, maybe I missed it. So the English connotation then was which one?
So the English is basically it's the name of the movie in this case, but in the context of the movie is she wants to learn English and languages such as that. Okay, which basically give her the company with her kids. I mean, if you watch the movie, it'll make more sense to you in which it was being used. But essentially, she wants to be cool like her kids. That's the thing that was basically portrayed.
That's like the English and other languages.
Yes.
It's kind of like conveying versus like English, who cares? Like that's when I hear the echo words, that's what I hear sometimes. So that's what you're saying is the dismissive, right?
That's right. But in your case, explain a little bit more. When you hear it, what in which scenarios you heard it? It is quite common that it could be both. That's why I'm interested in hearing when you have heard it.
Ashu Ji, can I expand that English to English? Yeah, Kelly Ji, is it? Can I expand that, Ashu Ji?
Yeah, go for it, and then let's see what Kelly has to say.
Yeah. That English to English. For example, if somebody doesn't know how to speak English, Kelly Ji, if you go and try to speak with the different languages or something, they will say it in a kind of hilarious way. Look, I cannot speak this English to English and all, just to speak in my language, I cannot speak this English to English. It's kind of, you're saying
playful.
that. Yeah, playful. Yeah, very playful.
Okay, got it.
Okay, let's look at more examples. Kelly, you want to have something else? You want to add something?
No, that was great.
Okay.
Anyway.
So let's look at more examples. So let's say you guys, some of my friends, they come to my house and I want to tell them, like, chai, why, पीने चलते हैं. Okay, चाय वाय पीने चलते हैं. Let's go to drink or drink tea and such. Here I'm a little vague about it. It doesn't mean that everybody will be drinking tea along with me. It just means that let's just go out, have tea and such. Okay, it could be something else as well. Okay, another explanation that I've heard is tea and the fixings. I've not used it in English myself, but tea and the fixings, which means biscuit, sandwich, whatever. So it's a biscuit, sandwiches, cookies and whatnot. Okay, tea and the fixing. If you guys have heard of any of these, echo words, do write it. Okay, do write it in the comments. I do want to go over, some of the keywords or the echo words that you have, heard it. Okay. Now, let's see some more scenarios. The most common, as I said, is echo word that starts with verb sound, the corresponding word. But that's not necessarily the case all the time. So you will see variety of echo words. So far, when I ask you, "Aap kaise hain?" "Aap kaise hain?" Okay, let me just respectfully, "Aap kaise hain?" How are you? Let's see who would like to answer that. The most common way. Let's say, Christina, you feel comfortable, you want to unmute yourself and tell us, how would you respond to that? Okay, and okay, how do you say okay? Achi is definitely very good. मैं ठीक हूँ. मैं ठीक हूँ, right? Which is I am all right. Now, as you get more comfortable, feel free to use the echo words along with that. And what is the echo word for theek? It's not theek weak. It would theek thak. Very good. So you will say मैं ठीक ठाक हूँ. Okay, मैं ठीक ठाक हूँ. And the way you will write it in Devanagari, because some of you are interested, is tha with e, ka, and thak. Theek thak. Okay, it means all right, okay. It could also mean so. मैं ठीक ठाक हूँ. Okay, very very common expressions. You will hear it from Hindi speakers. Okay, it varies from region to region as well, right? So that's the echo word for ठीक ठाक. Okay, it's a pair. Okay, pair, ठीक ठाक हूँ. It is also like if somebody were to ask you how is it going, right? In Hindi it would be, how would you say that in Hindi? Let's say, Chanel, how would you say how is it going in Hindi?
कैसे चल रहा है?
Very good. Okay, कैसे और कैसा चल रहा है. Okay, which means how is it going? A general expression that you would ask in English also, like to find out the whereabouts of a person. How is it going with you? Okay, and the response could be, Chanel, same expression.
TikTok?
Very good. TikTok chal raha hai. Yeah. Which means to say, which basically means that you're saying, oh, it's going all right, not too bad, right? I mean, that's what you would say in English, right? Not too bad, or So TikTok chal raha hai. Okay. Sometimes just saying the answer in this itself is good enough. It basically puts your point across. Okay.
So Ashu Ji, so that is that's the infamous, really, I've been looking for, like, más o menos, like more or less.
More or less.
Right?
That's right. Yep, more or less. Any other thoughts, questions? Anyone? Before we look at more examples. Let's see if you guys have shared any of the, okay. Chota mota, okay. Chota mota. Gmail, Vmail. Fax, wax, okay. These are all good examples. Shadi wadi, ishq wishq, okay. These are all the Bollywood ones that you heard of it, okay. Good. Oh, these are all echo words. Okay. Let's see if someone has shared it on our Facebook side. Okay. So I'm sure Maddie ji and Tarja ji, will share soon. So with that in mind, let's keep going and let's look at more examples. So let's say you want to say this thing in I don't have pencil or things like that. Let's say you go to an office, let's say in India, and you're trying to fill out a form, okay, and the certain thing that comes to your mind is I don't have. One is I don't have pencil or pen, okay. Other one is I don't have pencil and things like that. Which basically means that I don't have any means to fill out this form. Okay, this is the question for everyone. Try to write it. How do you say that in Hindi? Okay, some of you are beginner, I know, so don't worry about that. But to have, if you look at the expression, when you're talking about possession of something, it's ke paas. Okay, ke paas. And if it is used with the pronoun main, you will say main with ke paas. Okay. So if you're a beginner, just follow along and see what other friends are saying. So let's see. And this is the question for everyone, for folks who are watching on Facebook as well. So how will you say I do not have pencil and such, or pencil and things like that?
Ashu Ji,
Yeah.
is this this is different by kind of area? Because I've never heard the V kind of sound. Like, I feel like when I hear it, people would say like, mere paas pencil puntum nahi hai.
Yeah.
Like, they'll change like an A or I to a U.
Yeah.
Like chicken and things like that.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting point. It varies from region to region. Okay. You're mostly surrounded by Punjabis. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what it is.
Right. So that's what it is. Right. So they will not say roti voti. They'll say roti shoti. Okay. So it varies from region to region, and you have to adapt based on where you are. Okay. They'll not say chai bhai. They'll say chai chu.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a good observation that you noticed it, and it's. But again, there's no like a fixed rule per se. It is used so commonly that it becomes part of the daily conversation. So even in English also, some of the words and pairs that you used, they are state specific. They will be used only in certain states of the United States, right? And when you go there, you get used to it. So this is something similar, right? It's a good observation, Roshanadi, right? I mean, so. Right, so let's see, Vatsalaji, you want to tell us, how will you say I don't have pencil and things like that?
मेरे पास पेंसिल नहीं है.
Very good, right? So I'll try to break it down. So I is मैं in Hindi, and whenever you have to have, the expression is के पास. That's the postposition that you use. So मैं with के पास, pencil. So the pencil and things like that is pencil. And then don't have is nahi hai. Okay, and then this becomes mere paas. Right, so mere paas pencil nahi hai. Okay, so these are the most this is the one sort of a pattern where you have the corresponding echo word starting with the ver sound. Now let's look at the other ones that Sharon also alluded to, right? What are those words? So even in Hindi, not all of them start with like the ver sound. Like, so you have meeting, which is the meeting that you attend. The corresponding, it's sheeting. Okay, it doesn't really have any meaning behind it. Like there's no word like sheeting, but it's used so often by the Hindi speakers in the colloquial language. It became part of it, like meeting sheeting. Okay, so if somebody, you call your very best friend like kahan hai, like that means where are you, kahan hai. and you're not even using the pronoun because it's implied that tu kahan hai, right? Because you are close to them. He could say or she could say meeting शीटिंग चल रही है, that meeting is going on. मीटिंग शीटिंग चल रही है और मीटिंग शीटिंग में बिजी हूं, that I am busy in the meeting and things like that. Okay, it doesn't mean that he is really in a meeting, but basically he's busy in the official or office related work. Any questions so far?
So you said that's not a meeting going on, it's just
Something it could be meeting, it could be similar things, like you have a meeting and then you have some other official work going on, but he doesn't want to put all of them, there's no one word for it, so he's putting them into one bucket, meeting sheeting.
But is this kind of a complaint, or is it just kind of a statement?
That's a good question. The underlying tone will define that. Is it a complaint or it's a statement? Sometimes it could be a simple statement, sometimes it would be like meeting sheeting बहुत लंबी चल रही है, right? But that's regardless of the use of the word has no bearing on that. Like it's not just because you're using echo word, it's a complaint or a statement. That even when you say meeting चल रही है, right, or meeting में busy हूँ, you can have a very a different tone around with that, right? I hope that makes sense, Kelly, what I'm trying to explain here.
Yeah. No, I think because there's sometimes in English, it's like, using the sh as the echo word is really like, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so any other observations before we jump to the type 2? Right, so let's do type 2 echo words. So far we've done they're ending with ver sound, they're ending with sh sound. Okay, now let's look at type 2, which is which became part of the vocabulary, Hindi vocabulary. So typically when you are gossiping, the Hindi word for gossip is, anyone? You can write.
Gossip?
Yeah, gup. So word is really gup, but it's used so in a pair that it became part of the mainstream Hindi vocabulary. So it's gup shop. Okay, gup is the real word, but then gup shop is so common that you always identify it as like gup shop. Okay, gossip. The Hindi word for crowd is, or crowded. Who would like to say that? Let's see. Yeah, go for it. Bheed. Bheed. Okay, you have the word bheed. Very good. Bheed bhad. And the pair it's used as bheed bhad. Bhad is like by in itself it may not have too much of significance. Typically you will say bhad mein ja, that means go to hell. Okay, that's what it would mean. But when it is used as bheed bhad, it's like crowded. Okay, so let's say it's the example would be, one is like you can say वहाँ बहुत भीड़ है, बहुत भीड़ है. Okay, that's like it's today's बहुत भीड़ है, very crowded. Okay, it's very crowded. You could say same thing but with भीड़ भाड़. वहाँ, that like this, it's very crowded there. वहाँ बहुत भीड़ भाड़ है. Okay, बहुत भीड़ भाड़ है. Again, it's used so commonly that it became part of the vocabulary. Okay, it really means hustle and bustle. Anything else? Amritesh, you are there. Do you want to share something that is very common in your day-to-day conversation? Not sure if you're still there. Yeah, go for it.
जिसे कथा वथा हम लोग कथा वथा कहेंगे.
Okay, katha vata. Katha is like a spiritual talk, and then vatha is the corresponding echo word. Awesome. Okay.
भाषण वाचन.
Bhashan, bhashan. Bhashan is like what the. Explain it. What is bhashan?
भाषण is speech.
Speech. Right? A political speech typically. So bhashan, bhashan.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
पढ़ाई बढ़ाई.
Padhai, padhai. Okay. Awesome. Right. So typically parents can say that, right? When they come and they see all kids are playing in the ground, and like padhai padhai nahi chal rahi hai, right? That you guys are not studying, right?
Yes, yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we'll do next one, type 3, which is also pair. Basically, the term for helper in India or in Hindi is knocker. Okay, but the one that is being used is knocker chakar. Okay, knocker chakar. Knocker chakar, helper. Okay. Similarly, the other one is milna is to meet, but it's used correspondingly with julna. Okay, milna julna, to associate. Like you let's say you are in a social setting and you tell people, oh, I like to meet new people, or I like to associate, right? So typically you say I like, in general when you say I like tea, you say मुझे चाय पसंद है. Similarly, in this case, if you want to say I like to associate or I like to mingle, मुझे, instead of chai, you will say मुझे. Let's see. Let me not answer it. Who would like to share it? Tanya ji, how will you say that? I like to meet new people, or I like to associate with new people. Louder. Awesome. Finish it up. मुझे मिलना जुलना. Okay. Okay. Awesome. So if I heard you, you said मुझे मिलना जुलना. There was some echo, but we're talking about echo words and echo. So what you said was मुझे मिलना जुलना पसंद है. Okay. On the contrary, if you don't like to meet and associate because you feel that you're comfortable being yourself with your limited group of people, okay, how would you say that? Leah, you feel comfortable? No? Okay, you can write it. Okay, if you don't want to share it, you can write it down. Let's say Uniji, you want to unmute yourself and tell us.
मुझे मिलना जुलना पसंद नहीं है.
Awesome. मुझे मिलना जुलना पसंद नहीं है. Good. Awesome. Alright. Last one, and then we'll switch the topic. Okay. So we spoke about knocker chakar. We spoke about milna julna. The next one I have is a combination of two verbs that are joined together to convey the meaning. Okay, and it's basically जानबूझकर. जानबूझकर. Anyone familiar with this one? Anyone has heard of it?
I think it means like knowingly.
Knowingly, very good. Knowingly and deliberately.
Yeah, on purpose.
On purpose.
That makes more sense. Knowingly, it's an odd word in English.
Deliberately, on purpose. That's also a good one. On purpose. Have you heard of it in India or in some context? Let's get some examples of when was the last time, or you are familiar with the usage of it, janbujkar.
Oh, just something. It's like maybe if I forgot to turn something off, it's like, oh, janbujkar nahi kiya.
Oh, janbujkar. Okay.
But it was accidental. So I feel like I use it more in a negative sentence.
Okay, great. That's a great one. Awesome. So let's use some more examples of janbujkar and then we'll move on to the next topic. And feel free to share more examples here, as you guys are, some of you are definitely familiar with it. So, so it could be, let's say janbujkar, like the example that you give, उसने जानबूझकर दरवाजा बंद नहीं किया. Okay, so typically you would, without this word, what you're saying is उसने दरवाजा बंद नहीं किया. He or she didn't close the door. He or she didn't close the door. Right? To close is band karna, right? And to close the door is darwaza band karna. Okay. Now in this case, on purpose, he or she didn't close the door on purpose, deliberately. Why? Because they may want to annoy the person who is saying this one, right? So that's why this person is saying, उसने जानबूझकर दरवाजा बंद नहीं किया. Okay. Other one would be, I want to give a couple of examples so you guys, when you hear it, it just comes. Yeah.
Excuse. Can I just say, you spelled bhujkar. I think it's supposed to be bhujkar. Ba with a ja.
So you are saying it's instead of bhujkar is pa sound?
No, boo, but not aspirated boo.
Okay, so
boo and boo, it's boo and cha. The ja is aspirated, I think.
The ja is this one. This ja.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, if the question is like the ja is this ja versus this ja, it's this ja.
Yeah.
Bhuj.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like this ja. If that was the comment.
Okay, I'm just saying you spelled it like bhuj in the in the English.
One more.
Why you wrote it?
Yeah.
Why you wrote it up there? Jan Bhujkar, and you wrote it as.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
So, okay, I see. What you are saying is, like, when you read this one, it may come across as this sound, but it's the j sound, which is absolutely correct. Okay, read this as the aspirated sound. That's what she's saying. Jan Bhujkar. Okay. When I write Romanagari, it's this is a common thing, which is like you have to pay attention. So it's Jan Bhujkar. So it's J with A, N, and then B with U, J, Kar, Jan Bhujkar. That's what it is, Jan Bhujkar. Okay, so let's say you want to say वो और वह को जानबूझकर झूठ बोल रही है और झूठ बोल रहा है. She is deliberately, he or she is lying. झूठ. Again, this is it's aspirated sound. झूठ बोल रहा है. One is वो झूठ बोल रहा है और वह झूठ बोल रहा है. He is lying. Okay. And then जानबूझकर झूठ बोल रहा है, deliberately, on purpose, they are lying. Okay. Awesome. Any questions, anyone so far? Before we move on to the next topic, and then this is sort of we are wrapping up chapter number 16th, and we'll be starting with a new chapter after that. So my pace may be a little bit faster, but I want to make sure you guys are all comfortable. Let me see.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So for the first type of these echo words, no, for first and second type, the words should sound similar, like chai vai and bhi bhat. And in the third type, they don't sound similar, but the meaning of these two words is similar.
That is correct. Janna and bujna, they have similar meaning, but they are combined together because they are used so commonly that it became a word, Jan Bujkar. Okay. Similarly, knocker and chakar, they have the same meaning, but they used together, Jan, like knocker, chakar. Okay. Milna and junna in some context, like, I don't use it, but like, it's became the one thing, milna, junna. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, awesome. That's a good one. That's a good question actually. There's no rule for that, for the type 2 and the type 3. It's basically whichever region you are in, you as you learn more, you will get familiar with those words. The first one is simple because there is, either they're ending, starting with v or sh sound. So those are the easier, they're easier to identify. Yeah. Right. So now we'll do some more Hindi expressions. After this topic, Rupert Smith, he finishes chapter 16 with this one, like how to use either or. Either or. Okay. So examples is basically either I will take the bus or I will take the train. Right? So you take the train. You probably sorry, you probably have heard of these expressions, right? Where you are using either and or. Anyone can guess what are the Hindi words for that? You can write it or you can share it. Let's see. Someone who hasn't had a chance yet. Suvilai, you want to share? Have you heard of this in Hindi? Either or? Okay. Say louder. Awesome. So she's saying it's yato. So this is basically not to, read it as to, yato, and the corresponding one is ya. So in Hindi it's ya, to, and then this one is ya. Either or, yato and then ya. So let's say Suvilai, how will you say I will take the bus and I will take the train in Hindi?
मैं bus
Yeah.
Bus that takes Laungi.
Very good, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay. So it's either leungi or lungi. Okay. My bus, I'm gonna write it because you said leungi. And the other one is train.
Oh. Train is rail.
Just say, yeah, train. Just say train.
Okay. My train, Laungi.
Very good, leungi. Okay. So if you want to combine all of them together, you will say
Yato.
यातो मैं ट्रेन लूंगी.
यातो मैं बस लूंगी या मैं ट्रेन लूंगी.
That's right. या तो मैं बस लूंगी या मैं ट्रेन लूंगी. This is optional. Just like in English, either I'll take a bus or train. Okay, या तो मैं बस लूंगी या ट्रेन लूंगी. Okay, so this is basically the expressions for either or, या तो and then या. Okay, let's look at some more. Can you guys think of more examples?
So Ashu Ji, you would leave lungi twice as well.
Yeah, no, you can. You are right. This is optional as well. This is just like English.
Oh.
Yeah, this is optional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah, this is how comfortable you are with the language. Sometimes even in English we just say things twice. Like there's a difference in the conversational, language versus written one. In the written one, your
Yes,
teachers
I understand.
Yeah, awesome. Some more examples while I have you. When will you use either or ya to and ya?
One sentence I can think of, just because for cooking, we will usually either make rice or roti, but not both. So ya to main chawal banaungi ya roti.
Okay, या तो मैं चावल बनाऊंगी या roti. Okay, so चावल is rice, roti is roti, bread. Okay, banana is to make or to cook, to make. So या तो मैं, either I will make चावल or I'll make roti. Okay, basically you are setting up the boundary. I'm not gonna make twice. I'm not gonna make both of them. Okay, so या तो मैं चावल. If you ask me, okay, I'll say ना तो. Okay, I'll say ना तो मैं. What if? How will this change the meaning of this sentence? I'll say ना तो मैं चावल बनाऊंगा ना रोटी. What do you think?
I'll make either of them.
Yeah, neither I'll make rice nor I'll make roti. So it's opposite. Neither nor. Okay, we will jump to that, but it was a good example, so I was like, let's fit into it. So just like we did ya to and ya, similarly we have na and to and then na. Neither nor. Okay, neither nor. ना तो मैं क्रिकेट खेलूंगा ना ही मैं पढ़ाई करूंगा. Neither I'll play cricket nor I'll study. Okay. Any other? Yeah. Yeah.
Another common one in everyday use, maybe we use either I will try to come today or tomorrow.
That's good. How will you say that in Hindi now?
Or if not tomorrow, something like that.
Yeah. How will you say that?
या तो मैं try to come. So
या तो मैं I'll come today.
कोशिश no, try to come is that try to come. कोशिश आऊंगी. No.
Just say don't fit in. Try there. Just say या तो
मैं
मैं.
तो कल sorry आज आऊंगी.
Okay. या तो मैं.
आऊंगी.
Yeah.
या कल.
Okay. So either that. So या तो मैं आज आऊंगी या कल. Sometimes you can use the word फिर along with that. या फिर. That's also optional. या फिर मैं नहीं आऊंगी. नहीं आऊंगी. I just modified your sentence. You said.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You are being nice. You are saying that you will come tomorrow. Right? If I'm in a complaining mode, I'm going to be like, I'm not gonna come. Okay, either I'll come today or I'm not coming. Yeah. So या तो मैं आज आऊंगी या फिर मैं नहीं आऊंगी. Okay. So basically your options are just basically have me at your place today. Hopefully it makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? That's a good one. Anyone else who is having difficulty? Maybe we exercise the one of the example with you.
How do you change that into I will try to come today or tomorrow? If not tomorrow, something like
या तो मैं आज आने की कोशिश करूंगी या फिर कल.
Sorry, little slowly.
Okay, या तो मैं आज
Yeah.
आने की कोशिश.
आने की कोशिश. Okay.
That's what you were saying, right? Ana and then ki koshish karna, right? So aane ki koshish. Yeah? Let's see. Let's get some relatively new folks. Yato. Let me see. So with the expression, let's see if our friends can help us. So either I'll make it easy for you. Either I'll eat. Either 1 minute. Okay, there is some background noise. So either I will eat a waffle or a pancake. Let's see, Trisha and Misha, you want to unmute yourself and tell me how will you say that? Either I'll eat a waffle or a pancake. I'll help out, okay, if there's any difficulty, but give it a try. You have to unmute. Okay, you can write. You want to write it down? We can't unmute. Okay, it's broken. No worries. You can write it down. Okay, you can always write it down. So I will eat. And let's see who else would like to share that. Someone who hasn't had a chance yet. Nisha ji, you want to go? Okay. Let me just read. Okay, someone has unmuted themselves. Okay, JD, you want to go?
May waffle. No. First the either word. Yato. Yato may waffle kalinga.
Okay, very good.
Ya pancake.
Very good. या तो मैं waffle खाऊंगा या pancake. Great. This should be I mean, you guys correct me. My gut feeling is this topic should be straightforward. Okay, it does require some understanding of the sentences that you are trying to connect with this, yato expression. But other than that, this should be straightforward. Okay. Now let's try to, as I said, convert into instead of either or, let's try to convert into neither nor. Okay, neither and nor.
So Ashu Ji, that little fear in there, like when people say or fear or it's just or else, ya fear. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Or else.
Or else. That's right. That is correct. So I think what your question is, or like you hear this expression, ya fir, is that the same? Right? That is correct.
So that's basically else. Okay.
Yep. So now we have neither nor. So that's basically na to, na. So all the previous one that we converted, you can just literally say the same thing. Na to मैं चावल बनाऊंगा ना रोटी, ना तो मैं pancake खाऊंगा ना waffle. Okay. Similarly, he will. So let's say you want to, as a mom, you want to complain, so you want to say neither he will do homework nor will he play, or he'll play, nor will he play. Anyone would like to give this one a try? This should be straightforward. He will do homework, he will play. Someone who hasn't had a chance yet. Sunita ji, you want to do that?
ना तो वो homework करेगा.
Okay, ना तो वो homework करेगा.
No. Now. Kelega.
Okay, that's right. Sometimes you will hear remember the he keyword, he, to emphasize that certain thing. Nahi wo khilega. Will play. Okay, so sometimes you will hear this along with nahi wo khilega. And that he is simply to just emphasize, like, मैं ही, like, remember that, right? मैं ही. ना तो वो करेगा, ना ही वो खेलेगा. Neither nor. Okay. Imagine a scenario, right? I mean, you guys come to my place and let's try to combine three different type of friends. Everybody has different interests. All of you guys come to my place and one of you requests, like, Ashu Ji, chai vai banaiye. Okay, chai vai banaiye. That means make tea and things like that. Okay, one of you says, like, I am on a strict diet. या तो मैं चाय पीऊंगी या कॉफी. या तो मैं कॉफी. Okay, someone will say ना तो, neither, like, so it's like all different interests. One is saying, like, bring everything. Okay, one is saying, like, either they'll have chai or the coffee. The other one is saying neither. No, Ashu Ji, don't make anything for me. ना तो मैं चाय पीऊंगी ना ही कुछ खाऊंगी. कुछ is something and खाना is to eat. खाऊंगी. I'm trying to give different sentences so you get more practice there. Okay. Questions, anyone? How will you say neither I learn Hindi nor I learn French? Heather ji?
So may nato Hindi, Sikhi, na French.
Okay, I will, right? So nato I will, neither I'll learn. So for future it will be one more time. Yeah.
So are you saying I'll learn neither of them, or
will learn, right? One is like, how will you conjugate it in future? That's it, basically. Say that. Yep. So nato, yeah, exactly, right? So nato mein
Hindi, Sikhi, na French.
Awesome. There you go. Na to main Hindi सीखूंगी ना French. Okay. Let's do this.
Like I have a more cultural question, I think. So like that example of, are you saying, is it like you wouldn't I wouldn't come into your house and say, Ashu Ji, make me some tea and so forth, right? Like
if you're a very close friend of me, you will say that, right? Why not?
But I mean, if you said, is it, would you like, so I'm just trying to think of how that is, like, versus a response of like, would you like anything? Oh yeah, can you bring some blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I mean, is that kind of how it is? Or is it you just straight up walk in and say,
you just walk in and just say,
make me some tea.
Yeah, totally. They're totally acceptable. It's not considered rude. It's basically, we are close friends, right? So that's totally acceptable.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's so funny, isn't it? Because I'm thinking like I would ask if I was really thirsty for some water, but I wouldn't say,
Yeah.
all right, Ashu, get to it.
Totally, right. This one, all of you can do it, small exercise, which is, I have neither, let's say, like, this is a good one, okay? So I have neither money nor time. Sometimes you are very busy, right? And you want to, how will you say that in Hindi? All of you can do this one. To have, we've done this expression, right? Ke paas. But we are using this one with this new pair letter, neither nor. So I'm asking all of you to do it so I can validate everyone is comfortable. Okay, awesome. So let's see how everyone else is doing. Okay, awesome. So Shana ji already responded. Let's see how. Okay, Annie also responded. I'll just wait for some more time just to make sure that, you know. Okay, so we have the answers. ना तो मेरे पास पैसे हैं ना ही वक्त और समय. Okay, so you will say I have, right? मेरे पास. Remember that. I have is मेरे पास.
ना तो मेरे पास.
Yep. Finish it, Susan ji. Yeah, finish it, Susan ji. ना
तो मेरे पास पैसा है ना समय.
Very good. ना तो मेरे पास पैसा है ना he is optional.
ना ही समय.
Very good. समय.
ना ही समय.
Okay. है is also optional. You can say ना ही समय है, or some of you use the word वक्त. That's correct as well. Okay. Awesome. So we are right on time. Okay. This sort of finishes up our chapter number 16. It took us many lectures to finish this one because it's a long lecture, and I want to make sure that we go systematically. With that being said, there are definitely, it is quite possible that there are smaller sections of the chapter we may have missed. So I do want to encourage all of you to to do a quick brush up of chapter 16 and do the exercises, at least the first 2 or 3 questions of each exercise of chapter number 16, just to kind of like brush up the concept. It's a long chapter, so just take it slow. Okay. Next week we'll start with the new topic and the new lecture 17. So I'm going to open it up for discussion, and this is sort of like, you know, the for folks who are watching live on Facebook, we miss you too, Kuo. You know, and thanks so much for joining on Facebook, everyone. Okay, so I'm gonna